Hello and welcome back to this channel. Today we are creating a Laravel 10 project. In this project we are creating a to-do app from scratch. And while we're coding, we will learn one of the fundamental things in web development, which is CRUD. It stands for create, read, update and delete. But before we jump in the code, please hit the like button and subscribe to this channel. Okay, so basically this is the application, nothing fancy here. We are able to log in and register users. So let's register a new user. I use fake filler Chrome extension, register, and we are redirected to the dashboard page. And here is the menu item for the to-do list. We are able to add to-do, so basically we are able to create. Let's create one. One more. So we are able to create and we are able to read because we are able to view different posts, different to-dos on the list. Create, read, update. We are able to edit the post or edit the to-do on the list. As you can see, it's updated and we are able to delete. Also in the next video, I will show you users per roles and permissions with Laratrust. So if I visit the Laratrust page and I try to modify the user's permissions, and you can see at the moment they are the user able to delete to-dos. Let's just save this, go back to the page. And if I try to delete now, as you can see, sorry, you don't have a permission to delete this to-do. So basically we will be able to update users' permissions as well in the next video. Okay, jump into the code, and as always, let's install a Laravel 10 fresh project. Open up the folder where would you like to create your new Laravel 10 application. And inside the folder, open up a command line and type in Laravel new and your project name. In my case, it's gonna be to-do. So Laravel new to-do. Okay, so Laravel 10 is installed. Now let's enter to this newly created folder. And now let's breeze package by composer. On the Laravel documentation, go to the starter kits breeze. And let's use composer to get this package. Okay, now we have this package. Let's install breeze. PHP artisan breeze install. We're gonna install Blade. We don't need any Livewire, React or Vue for this project. It's gonna be the simplest way to create Laravel 10 application with CRUD functionalities. So I use the Blade version. We don't need dark mode. Okay, that's done. Now let's create the database for this application. So let's go to the MySQL and create a new database. In my case, the database name will be to-do. Okay, so our database is ready for our application. And now let's open this newly created app in the VS Code. So here I have this newly created app. Let's open this. In the .env file, I don't need to change anything because the database name is to-do. That's what has been created just now. The username is root and I don't use any password on my local machine for development. So basically the connection between the MySQL database and the application, Laravel 10 application, is basically it's ready to use. Okay, now let's open the terminal inside the VS Code and we need to install dependencies. So use npm I everything is installed now. Now we need to run npm run dev. So it's compiled our assets in live, in real time. Let's add one more terminal because we would like to run a server for this application. So PHP artisan serve in my case. And now we are ready to open this application in the browser. As you can see, we have a newly created Laravel 10 application with Laravel Breeze, which gives us the login and register pages by default and all the logic behind it. So now we can log in and register new users. But before we creating a new user, let's just run the migration. So add one more terminal. Okay, and now let's run the following command: php artisan migrate. Right. So now we are able to create new users because we have the database for the user, we have the connection between the database. I use fake filler Chrome extension just to fill up with dummy text. And as you can see, we are able to create new users. We are logged in, we can log out. And if you check the database, hit refresh, we have one new user what has been created now. Okay, in this application we are doing to-do list. So of course in the database we need a to-do field. So let's just create this to-do table. In Laravel we will use model, views and controllers. And in order to create a new model, which is going to be the to-do model in the database, we have to use the following command: php artisan make model, and then the model name, in my case is going to be to-do. And then I will use the flag symbol and mcr, which is going to be for migration. I want the migration file, C for controller, and R for resources, because we are doing a CRUD application. So we will need the index file, the create file, the edit file, the update file, and all this logic will be inside the controller file for us. Okay. Okay, so PHP artisan make model, then the model name, to do, flag symbol dash and mcr, model, controller and resources. And as you can see, everything, the model, the migration and the controller is has been created successfully. Let's just first look the model, then the migration and then the controller. Okay, so the model is inside the app folder and the model folder, and we have this model here to do. The migration file is inside the database folder, migrations, and the last one is the to-dos table. And the controller is inside the app folder, http controllers, and as you can see we have a to-do controller here. And that's why we put in the R when we created the model and the controller, because it gives us the index, the create, the store method, the show method, edit, update and destroy by out of the box. Okay, now let's jump back to the database migration and the create to-dos table file, because in this application for this to-dos we need a title of the to-do and a small description as well. And of course we need to connect the to-dos with the user who is created the to-do. So we need a third list, which is gonna be the user ID. This is give us the relationship between the user and the to-do. Okay, so we have a string table for the title, the text for the description, and one integer field for the user ID. Now we have all these, but by default Laravel protects us against mass assignments, so we wouldn't be able to save any data into these fields. We need to tell the model that we are accepting these values from the form on the front side. So we need to go to the app folder model and to the todo.php, and we need to give this file the fields we are expecting from the form on the front end. So we need to do the protected fillable. We are expecting the title, the description, and the user ID. Also, we would like to connect the to-dos to the certain user who created the list, and we need to create the relationship between the user and the to-do list here in this file. Okay, so now basically we created the relationship from the to-do list to the user, because the to-do list belongs to a user, and now we need to create the reverse of it. So we have to go to the user table, and the user could have many to-dos on his list. So why I use only user here in the user model, I will use to-dos, because they could have more than one to-dos on their list. Okay, so the user could have. Okay, so the user has many to-dos, and it's only to-do, sorry. Okay, so now we have created the migration file. We have the fillable properties in the model file. Now we can run the migration again. And as we have already run the migration, I do the fresh migration now. And as you can see, everything is created. Let's just check if the to-dos is created as well. Okay, so now we have the to-dos table with the title, description, and user ID. Title, description, user ID. Okay. Okay, now let's create the front end for the to-do list. So basically when the user logs in, they want to see their to-do list on their dashboard. For that, we need to go to the controller, and the index file will show to the user all the index method will show to the user all their to-dos. In order to do that, we need to grab all the to-dos from the database to the specific user who logged in, and then we have to show them. So first of all, let's just grab the to-dos from the database. Of course, at the moment they don't have any to-do in the database, but later on when they have, you immediately give them the list. Okay, so we have a variable to-do, and we grab the database to-do, where the user ID is equal to the authenticated user ID. So we grab all the to-dos for the authenticated, for the logged in user, and then we return a view, index view, with this to-do list. Okay, but at the moment we don't have this view, so let's just create all the views: the index, the create, the edit, and the show views. So first of all, I will create a to-dos folder, and then I create all the files, the index, the create, the edit files for that. So for that, we need to go to the resources folder, views, and inside the views, I create a new folder called to-dos. And inside this to-dos folder, I create the index.blade.php file. And I want the same design as the dashboard. When the user logs in, I want to see use the same design. So I just go to the dashboard.blade.php, grab everything from here, go back to the to-dos folder, index file, and paste it here. All I change is that the heading will be, here is your to-do list. And the list will be here. Okay, so our controller serves this view, but our route is not ready for this. So let's just create the route file now. If you go to the routes folder, there is the web.php. And here we will specify all the routes we need for create in the list, for the list, the create, the destroy, the update, and for basically for everything we need for this to-do list. I will place all the code inside this out middleware group, because I want the user to log in to be able to have access for these pages. So if you paste any route inside this group, the user has to be logged in, basically. Otherwise, they will be redirected back to the login page. Right, so this is what I just copy and pasted here to speed up this video. You will see all the routes we need for this project here. So the first one will be the index, to-do's index, route to display list of to-do items, so all the to-do items. The second one is to create, so add a to-do for the to-do list. And the third one is to save the actual input fields from the form. The fourth one is for showing a specific to-do. And then one more route for editing, and one more route to save the edited to-do, and the last one is to delete a to-do from the list. Okay, so now let's just create this menu item inside the navigation bar for the logged in user. So if we go back to our application and we create a new user, then we go to the dashboard, but we don't have any menu item to click on to see the to-dos list. So let's just create one more menu item up here called to-do. In order to do that, let's go to the resources folder, views, and layouts, and you have navigation.blade.php here. And as you can see, here is the menu item for the dashboard. Let's just create one more. The route will be, if you check the web.php, the route will be to-do's index. So let's just do that. And we want to active this route if we are visiting the to-do's index page. And let's name it to-do list. Okay, let's see what we have done. I have a typo here. Okay, so to-do controller does not exist. It's because we need to import the to-do's class inside the route folder web.php file. So in order to use this to-do's controller, we need to import this class up here. Okay, so now it should work. and it works. List here. So this is exactly what we expected. If you can, we can check it. So for example, we are visiting this /todos, which goes to the todos controller class index method, todos controller index method, grab all the todos for the specific user who logged in, then return the views from the todos folder index file, which has been just created. Todos folder index file list here. And as you can see, it's updates now. So we are gonna show a list of to-dos here. Of course, we don't have any to-dos at the moment inside the database, but let's just handle this situation when there is no to-dos in the database at all. For that, we will use the blade syntax called for else. So basically we for loop the collection, which is come from the todos controller, todos. So we for loop it. Todos as a to-do. So every to-dos on the database will be a to-do. And we want the title of the to-do in the unordered list. Okay, so we want the title of the to-do. But if the database is empty for this user, then we want to say for the user, we want to show for the user that, okay, everything is good, but you don't have anything inside the database to show. And as our to-do list is empty at the moment, we are show this message for the user. Okay, now let's create a button to add new to-dos for the list. Just up here, let's create a button for that. Okay, so I have this button here. It's basically a link with just following classes here. And the href goes to the todos /create, because if you go to the web.php file, as you can see, route to display a create form is this route. So /todos /create. So exactly that's what we've done here. /todos /create. If the user clicks on it, we want to show them a form where they can type in the title, description, and that's it. They can save it to their list. Okay, so let's just create this form. So we need to go to the resources, views, to-dos folder and create a new file called create.blade.php. Basically, I want nearly the same thing as in the index file, but without this for loop and without this add button. Actually, let's just create all the views file for now. This is gonna be the form to add a to-do. So okay, and form here. Okay, what else we need? We will need a form to update the to-dos. So we need a new file called edit. And I want nearly identical thing here as inside the create. I have a typo here, missing a dot. Okay, so edit form here. Update your to-do item. And we want to show a specific to-do with the description and everything. So let's create one more file, which is gonna be the show.blade.php. And same here. Title, description. So we will show the title and the description here for the user. Okay, so we have create, edit, index, and show inside the to-dos folder. Right, so we want to add a item for the to-do list. So if you go to the to-dos controller, and if we go to the create method, we would like to show this view file for the user. So basically we want to return a view from the to-dos folder called create. And now we should be able, here is the to-do, add to-do button. If you click on it, form here, add to-do to your list. So we should create a form here. Let's go to the create file and let's paste the form here. Okay, so here is the form. We have a post method, action is to-dos, because if you visit the routes file, web.php, route to store a new to-do has to be a post request for this route. If we have a post request for this route, because this route is same as this, but here we have a get request, so we're getting the data from the database, and here we are posting a data for the database. So if we're visiting this route with a post request, then this is gonna be redirected to the to-do controller store method. Here, down here. So here is where we're gonna save the data. Here we show the form to create a new to-dos, and here we save the data into the database. Okay, let's go back to the create view. So that's why we have a post method here, and the action is to-dos. And we need to pass the CSRF token. Don't forget, this is important for Laravel. And here is a label, add your to-do, and we have an input field here with a type of text, what you have to do. This is a placeholder, and we have a bunch of class to format. I think I just put it in a few lines, so it's on the one page editing. Okay, so basically this is the input field with all these classes. And down here we have a submit button with all these classes. And the type is a submit. So that's all. Let's just see how this looks like. Oh, it looks bad, because why don't we see the button? I have some. I want exactly the same button as on the index page. Sorry, I need to find out what's going on here. Border green, BG green 200. Basically, I want anything from here. I want the same button at the create page as well. Classes. Okay, now it works. Okay, so we are able to type, and if we hit this add to do button, nothing happens. Basically what is going on, we are submitting this form to this route. This route is redirect us to this to controller store method, but we don't have anything inside the store method yet. So let's just store our request fields inside the database. We need one more field here called description. It's going to be a text area name with description, ID, description. Let's have a look how it looks like. Go back. And we are seeing nothing, we can see nothing here. Why is that? And now we are seeing the text area. Let's give some margin on the top. And the label for it. Oops. For description. Let's have a look. It needs some, not margin bottom, but margin top. Okay. Now we can save our data into the database. Okay, so what we are doing here, we are creating a new to-do inside the database. We want the user ID when we save the new to-do to the list. We want the user ID, the currently logged in user ID, and we want to save all the sent requests from the form. And then we want to redirect the user back to the index page to see all the list of their to-dos. Let's test this out. Let's save, and we are redirected back. And as you can see, we are able to list their to-do items. And we have the second item as well. Okay, so now we are able to create from the CRUD. Now let's do the read, create, read, update, delete. So the next one is the read. What we want here, if we click on this text, we want to see the title and the description for only for that to-dos. For that to do. Okay, so it's gonna be the show view. So we are working with this file here, title and description here. Let's go back to the to-dos controller, and we want to do this method, show method. Basically, we want for this show method the to-dos ID, and Laravel automatically will grab the to-do item from the database and give it to us. But first of all, let's just create the link for this method. If we are going to the index.play.php, basically we want click on the title and then show the to-do title and the description of it. So let's create an href. And if you check the route folder web.php, route to display a specific to-do item to show. What we need to do is going to be a cat request, so anchor tag is okay. /todos/to-do, which is basically represent the to-do item ID. So we want to visit the /todos and to-do item ID. If we are going back to the index page, all we need to do is /todos/ and the current to-do item ID. Okay, so this is the route we are visiting. And now this ID will be passed to the controller, and the Laravel will automatically grab it from the database and give it to us. So in this show method, we would like to return a view from the to-dos folder show file with the to-do from the database. Let's go to the show file. We want to show here the to-do title. And then in the next line, we want to show the to-do description. I don't style it. We get the point without any styling. Let's have a look. Okay, so we are not able to click on it. Yeah, and it is because we have to put it inside the anchor tags. Okay, now we are able to click them, and here is the title and here is the description for it. If we go back to the list, here is the second one. But we have a problem here. Let's imagine that this to-do ID is second, and we know this route is gonna show us the to-do list. Let's log out and create a new user. Okay, so /todos, and if you put the ID there, you can see someone else's to-dos list. So we need to check if the currently logged in user is the owner of the to-dos. In order, we need to go to the to-do controller, and here where we show the to-do item, we need to check if the currently logged in user is the owner of the to-do item. The authenticated currently logged in user is the owner of the to-do item. Then we want to do this. We want to show them their to-do list. Else, we want to redirect back to the index page. So now if I refresh, I will be redirected back to the index page. Here you go. I don't have anything on my list, but I can create some. I can click on it, I can visit mine, but I'm not able to visit someone else's to-dos. Here you go. Okay, so now we are able to create read. Now let's do the update from the CRUD. In the update, in the edit file, we will show the update form. So we need to serve the edit file, and then in the update method, we will save it. Okay, so let's just work on it. We need a form to edit the to-do item, and we need to pass the to-do item to the edit form because we want the values inside the fields what is already saved in the database. Okay, so again, before we show them the edit form, first we need to check that the currently logged in user is the owner of this to-do item. Otherwise, we don't want to allow them to edit the to-do. So if the currently logged in user is the owner of the to-do item, then return the edit file with the to-do from the database. Otherwise, redirect back to the index page with errors, and we say to the user that you are not allowed to edit someone else's to-do list. For this, we need to edit the index file, so we are able to show these error messages for the user. So let's go to the index file, and just up here, let's check if is there any error message we have. And if we have any error message, then say sorry and the error message. Okay, so let's go back to the to-dos controller. Okay, now we need to edit this edit file first to show the user the data from the database, what they can edit. So let's go here. We need a form here. Let's use the same form we used in the create file. So form, copy and paste here. Not to the index, we need the edit file. Okay, but at this time, we are visiting a different route with a different method, because it's not going to be, we are not creating a new one, we are saving, we are updating the currently created, currently visited to-do. If you check the route, it say route to display a specific to-do item for editing. In order to do that, we have to visit this route. If you check the update specification, then route to update a specific to-do item, you need a put request and visit this route. So let's just copy this, and don't forget we need the put request for updating. So we want to visit this route here. Let's go back to the edit.bleed.php, and inside the action we need the current to-do item ID. To-do ID, so the Laravel will know what to update on the list. And at the moment we are doing the post request, but to update the to-do item we need to use a put request, and we use a special helper here, method, and inside the brackets we still need a CSRF token, and of course we want to show the not the placeholder, we want to show the value from the database. So value, and we want the current to-do item title. And we want the description as well from the database. Okay. So next to this to-do's title, we want basically a button. It's gonna be inside a span with these bunch of classes and an anchor tag for this route. Basically, we want to visit this route with a get request, and we pass in the to-do ID, so the database and the Laravel will know what to-do item has to grab by the controller, and then they pass it inside the edit view. Here you go. Okay, and now if we are click on save or update, this is a submit button. It will submit this form to this route with a put request, which gonna hit this update method inside the database. Okay, so the edit method is to show the to-do item from the database what you would like to update, and when you hit the submit button, it will submit all the requested data to this method here. So we need to update the data inside the database here. And as always, first we want to check if the authenticated logged in user is the owner of the to-do item, so they are not able to update someone else's to-do item or someone else's post. If so, then update inside the database everything and then redirect back to the index page. If they are not the owner, then redirect back and say it's not allowed. Let's try this. Okay, so update, and here you go, the title is updated and the description is updated as well. If you go back, add one more. Save it. Okay, we have now two items. Let's edit this. Hello world edited, description edited as well, update, and the title is updated and the description updated as well. Let's just give some margin for this index for each list item. 4. Much better. Okay, so now we are able to create, read, update, and now we need to delete the items. Route to delete a specific item. And as you can see, the request has to be delete. So we need to visit this route. We need to hit this route with a delete method. So we need to use a form again for a delete button. Basically, the delete button will be a form because that's how we can send a delete request for this route. So if we go back to the index page, just under this edit button, we need a delete form basically. So this is going to be a form. We're going to hit the following route, to-dos / the to-do ID. The method is post here, but inside this helper we say it's not a post, it's a delete actually. We need to use the CSRF token, method is going to be delete. And if we hit this button, it will goes to this route with a delete request. to this route with a delete request, which gonna send us to the to-do's controller destroy method. Okay, again, we need to check if the authenticated user is the owner of the to-do item. If yes, then we can delete it from the database and redirect back to the index page. Otherwise, if they are not the owner of the to-do item, then just simply return back them, redirect back them to the index page with the errors not allowed, and that's it. Let's have a look how it looks like. Okay, we need to a bit edit this bit style. This list item has to be a flex. And now they are in one line. Okay, so let's just try to delete this. And as you can see, we are able to delete now. So we have the create. We are able to create, we are able to edit. We are able to read. And now we are able to delete. In the next video, I will show you the roles and permissions for user, redirect different user to the different page, and give different users different permissions as well. Please subscribe to the channel and hit the like button if you liked it. Thanks for watching. Bye.